Alright, so what is up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Obviously as you can see, I wanted to do another just like episode of Jake's basically. So yeah, today we're using the M100. I just finished this truck up literally yesterday, and I was gonna do like an episode with it, but I figured I'd play around with it a little bit and then do a video on it because getting used to the difference between this truck and say like the 1150 or the 1075, it's definitely a different situation, to be quite honest. It's not too much different as far as operation wise, obviously, but um, the way the boom is, it's a little different. And of course, we're in the Firestone V2 map. I just love this map for, uh, stuff doing with Jakes or whatever. There's plenty of spots to sort of do some, little scenes on and stuff like that. But we'll see how good the physics will work for us today in this area. We're in the middle of a bunch of hills, so possibility this thing might lag a little bit. But that's sort of to be expected. I mean, what can you do? Put these GUIs away. Hopefully what I'll do, I'll probably put the, if you guys watched my last video, it was me sort of showing the little GUIs that I made for TOSIM, or well, my upcoming TOSIM. And I think I'm going to actually script those into the Jake's trucks, or a few of them, and we'll try them out and see how we like them. And then, of course, I have a public test coming up. Again, if you're in my Discord, you'll know about it. So if you're not in my Discord, uh, I really recommend you to join it because that's where you can stay up to date with anything on the upcoming TOSIM and all that kind of stuff. So, um, and I do pretty much regularly give updates on TOSIM and in my Discord. So, but one thing with this truck that this truck had to have them, and like a lot of people have noticed on the other trucks, they've never had them before, but the actual spades or flipper foots things. When I made the M100, I was like, that thing looks too bare in the rear. It needs the actual flipper foot. So I made it for the M100, obviously. But now the other rotators have this flipper foot. So now things got even better, which these actually do flip down. I'll show you guys I'll show you guys right quick. I'm gonna go ahead and set that front outrigger down though. But you can see those will flip down, and they actually do work really well. When you dig these spades in, unlike the outriggers or whatever, these things, I mean, these trucks are planted now. If you boom up high and you just put both of these down and, put the outrigger down just a little bit, this truck does not move, especially this one. But like the 1150 and the 1075, same way. They don't move with those feet right there. So I'm really glad I sort of just finally hunkered down and made them. It's just I tried them about a year ago, but a year ago my building skills weren't for little parts like this basically where I'm trying to put a bunch of detail. Oh well, I clicked that, but I mean, it's got a decent amount of detail to it for a little part, but like a year ago, I just couldn't get the shape right, basically. So yeah. But anywho, this is the M100, and obviously, one thing, the main difference between this and say the 1075, for example, is not really the roller situation, because a lot of people, think a lot about the roller because it's super long, almost twice as much as the 1150 has, but mainly the thing that I find different is the boom height on this thing. Because if you think about it, when the boom was just flat right there, um, just at zero, this boom is at the like top of the Pete and Kenworth cabs that we have on the tow trucks, and well, for the wrecked vehicles and all that, they're literally at the rooftop, basically at 0 degrees. So when you go to do something with this truck, uh, I don't seem to use as much boom extension or have to boom up a lot necessarily. Where as with the 1150 and the 1075, you usually find yourself with 50% or 60% of stick out trying to pick something up, and it's a lot of boom movement. But with this M100, it's it's a different realm. Um, so yeah. But yeah, I'm really, I didn't think I'd really care much for it, but to be honest, after making it and getting it all sort of right, but I still have a lot more to do to it, or well, that I want to do to it. Um, but I think the rear especially turned out very, very good. Because I mean, this is all part built. This isn't any sort of mesh or nothing, so I think it turned out good for being part at least. But anywho, let's go ahead and just pick this thing up. I got an ox on the see where it would be best to grab this thing. We'll simulate like a strap there or something, whatever. So anywho, and this truck is it is a beast, but there's still limits to it, obviously, because these don't work anchored anymore. Sort of moved on from that era. Don't do anything anchored anymore in Jake's, so that's sometimes it is a challenge, but you just sort of figure out how to work with things sometimes when it comes to physics. So yeah. And surprisingly, this thing, just having the tow bar or whatever, I decided not to do the underlift because if anyone pays attention, the most recent M100 that just hit the road actually, which is actually 30 minutes away from me IRL, it's actually in North Carolina. It has it's the first one with an underlift on it, which is pretty interesting. And the thing is, it doesn't move with the actual outrigger. It's on the frame. So it was pretty interesting to say the least. Um, but yeah, I didn't think they would do a underlift on an M100, but then again, I mean, they did intend it to be for towing companies, so I don't really know how we didn't see that one coming. But oh well. Sort of just flipping this thing over. But I thought to myself, I was like, I just haven't done a regular, just straight up, you know, start recording just little Jake's episode. Just haven't done that in a while. And so, I mean, people used to love the Jake's episodes, and episode 9 was sort of. That was one that I just sort of rushed onto the channel. Um, and so, yeah. Now that I've got my proper mic set up, I like to just voice videos out now instead of playing music in the background of them. I'm sort of just gotten bored of trying to edit videos, basically. So, I mean, I've just been literally recording and posting raw, which some people like because they get to see literally everything. I mean, it's more channel watch time. I mean, at the end of the day, some people like to sit and just watch throughout the whole video. Some don't, which I understand that, obviously. I mean, not everyone can stay tuned in to just listen to me talk, but yeah. I mean, there are the few that do, though. So this style of videos works for me. Not so much for the people that don't like to just sit and watch stuff like this. Um, let's see here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this front one. Actually, bring my front outrigger in. I think we'll just pick this a little bit and just put it on the road. Alright, let's just pick this thing up just a tiny bit and get it on the road. Gonna grab there and there. We'll just mainly the rear there. Gotta tighten this one up so it's not just going forward basically, but just scooting it on the road like that. May have to take like an auxiliary and sort of pick this little edge up here, sort of to get it to move over basically. You wouldn't want to, typically you wouldn't want to do something like Cyro because this makes your load swing, but as long as you control it, you're good. Just let it lift off the ground just a little bit until you get it where you need it. There we go. That's where I want that end. And so we can get rid of that. And then maybe we could just, see here, let's just position our boom up front. Surprisingly, the motors are working out fine right now. ROBLOX updates have sort of killed motors sometimes. Sometimes they work flawless like they used to. Sometimes they're hard to work with where they won't necessarily move. It's something with the current angle doesn't update like it used to. So like what the current angle is in a motor that like powers the boom and stuff, um, it basically tells it where the actual motor is. And so that's how we do the stop function. That's really the only way to do the stop function. But for some reason, ROBLOX has sort of done some updates, and it's certain times through the day I've noticed that. Like right now it's 1 a.m. and they work fine at this time of night or day, whatever you want to call it. Um, I mean they work fine at this time, but say like during the day when we actually want to do a Jake shift or do a live stream, for example, they they just don't want to work. So I don't know. It's really been sort of an issue, but hopefully ROBLOX will fix that, or I have to move to something new, which I've been experimenting with, which is constraint. Just not really full constraint, but I've been thinking of swapping to hinge constraints. Haven't really decided, but um, definitely if they work better, that's what I'll have to use for TOSIM. Cause yeah, and then plus this truck, what I'm gonna do very soon here is actually put my physical cylinders on the boom. I finally have just sort of finalized the way I want to do that, and I'm gonna put them on this truck first, use this truck as like a trial, and make sure they work fine, and then they can go on every other truck. So yeah, but anywho, let's get this thing ready to tow. So let's see here. So I'll show you this one. This M100, like I said, it's got the tow bar. I plan to do one with the underlift, but I wasn't worried about that version at first. I liked the tow bar idea better anyway. Um, and I mean the one that has the underlift, it's kind of this it's basically this huge unit that just holds it in place on the frame. Um, it's really weird. Basically, when I go to make that truck, you guys will see it, of course. But it's a little interesting. If you just look up basically M100, it's the white and red one. The one that just came out. It's M100 number 4. So it can't be that hard to find, honestly. So and it's on Miller's website on under the actual M100 page. It's there. And one thing I noticed, and I've never really, I don't know if it's just this M100, but never noticed that this was like upside down. But I mean, I figured I found that out, and I was like, oh, okay then. But I'm not too worried about it because I never used that stuff there. And like I said earlier, if you want to get any updates on like my new towing game that's coming out, just be in my Discord, and that's where I'm gonna be sort of announcing the public test in a few days. Well, I shouldn't say a few days. I think it's probably gonna be a week from now because basically what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be a game set up with my rec system, and what the rec system is basically, it's like I was saying in the live stream like 4 or 5 months ago when I was talking about making a new towing game, and me and everyone in the live stream were sort of brainstorming together. Um, and we came up with, or well, I sort of was talking about the rec system, and everyone wanted one that was just sort of random. But then I popped off the question. I was like, would you guys be more interested in where you could just click when you want the call? Like, so basically, the game wouldn't be forcing you into a call. You would get to choose when you want to call. Um, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm starting to make um, the system as anyway. But yeah. And so anywho, this is hooked up now and it's pretty much ready to go. I mean, this is how the tow bar works. Obviously, IRL, this stuff here, this is all modeled and work. There's hinge constraints here, and these extend like they're supposed to, and all those pivots. But I just have a simple weld that you click there, and it welds all this together. But IRL, all this stuff would be freely moving while you're, towing what you got to tow. But it just doesn't seem to work that well that way. So this is the way we do it, though. But yeah, like I said, hopefully the public test will give me sort of the feedback I'm wanting. The feedback I'm wanting is to see what people think of the different controls um, that I've decided to go with now. Again, if you didn't watch my past video, basically I want to do just straight up control GUIs instead of the whole walk up to the truck and it's a bunch of keyboard controls, but you're limited to standing beside the truck. I think people would be more annoyed with that than pleased with it. Um, I mean, for the ones that like realism, that's great, but I also have to sort of cater to the people that are going to just find the game randomly and they're going to want to play it because they see tow trucks, and you kind of have to figure out how it can work for both worlds. Which, I mean, control GUIs aren't the end of the day. I mean, this is literally what we've used in Jake since day one, but I mean, we do have the boom controls on keyboard, and I do plan that. So if you're getting confused, no, it will be actually like it'll basically be like the Jake's GUI. It'll be a few GUIs that basically when I'm making a new truck, I can just choose from, and I can throw it in, edit a few little options, and it's set for that truck. Basically, that's all I'm looking to do. But anyway, I said that stuff in my last video, so I guess that's it. You guys got to see the M100 in action, which, this is the most recent project, so yeah, you guys got to see it now in a video. And I mean, this is another Jake's episode, so yeah, hopefully we'll have some more episodes coming because we're starting to get back in game a little bit. Uh, so yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time then.